Hey Rose. Hey, how
Hi,
you doing? You okay?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. One of the first things I wanted to talk to you about was your sort of journey into jiu-jitsu because you had kind of a roundabout way of coming into it because I know you went through judo and then traditional jiu-jitsu first. How did that sort of transition happen then?
Yeah, kind of naturally. I think when I was 6, I guess, I started judo and I did that for a few years just to try it out. And I think it's pretty common in the Netherlands, where I'm based. And then I didn't like it at some point anymore. I didn't like to compete and I didn't like falling on the floor. So I changed to traditional jiu-jitsu because my father was kind of pushing me to still pursue a martial art, being young. So I did that for a few years, and then kind of naturally, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu became part of the schedule, or was just added to the class schedule. So I tried a class and I really, really liked it. I liked that we were sparring and that it was really intense. So after that trial class, I picked it up once a week, twice a week, and like slowly started doing it more and more often until I got to the point where I dropped traditional jiu-jitsu and just did Brazilian jiu-jitsu until now. So
Nice. And with that sort of transition, sort of, it's kind of odd because you've gone from a really competition heavy and sparring heavy sport into one that doesn't do that and then back into one that does. Did you find that you missed that element of it at all?
yeah, I think maybe I was just a bit young doing judo because I really didn't like being pushed around, and I was always the smallest in class anyway, so that didn't make it much easier. And then I think traditional jiu-jitsu was kind of an escape to appease my dad, I guess. And then I guess I didn't like. I really like the aspect of trying something that you learned and then seeing that it doesn't work and you have to keep working until you get to the point where it does it actually work. So I really like that whole process as hard as it is. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely kind of jiu-jitsu in a nutshell, really, isn't it? Is learning
Yeah.
something and then adapting as you go along. And when you've sort of taken your journey into like the higher belt levels, I know that you were in medical school for a lot of it as well. How did you find that period sort of juggling, life as a jiu-jitsu competitor and as a professional,
Yeah, that was pretty challenging, mostly because I couldn't control my schedule. So in med school, the day starts at 7:30, so you have to be in the hospital like 7:15. So basically, I was in the train like at 6 a.m. to travel there, and then being like spending the whole day at the hospital, and then going back at like 6. So it was really long days. So that made it quite difficult to fit in the time for training and fit in the time to recover. So I think after I finished med school, it was much easier to, work part-time and then pursue jiu-jitsu in my spare time.
So you eventually quit, didn't you? You've sort of pursued jiu-jitsu full time outside of medicine, haven't you?
I did for a little bit. So in 2022, I quit working as a doctor completely just to pursue jiu-jitsu. But right now I am actually working part-time. So I work almost 3 days a week in a clinic and I do jiu-jitsu also. So yeah.
So, if you don't mind me asking, then why did you give it up for that period of time? Like, what was it that made you want to focus on jiu-jitsu solely in 2022?
So I just wanted to see what happened if I would focus all my time and attention into jiu-jitsu, and really don't regret doing that for a year. It was really good. I think I had one of like the best performances I ever had, and yeah, I don't know. I just always felt like something I wanted to try because I felt like if I don't spend 100% of my time and energy in jiu-jitsu, then maybe I'm just missing out on something. So that's why I wanted to give that a go. In the end, I think I don't know, different like life, like turns of life that made me decide to get back to like a regular job in some sort of sense. Definitely like some financial stability. Let's be honest, like jiu-jitsu doesn't pay that much, and also yeah, like some logistics on the other side of it, like keeping my license as a doctor is also involved in that. So yeah,
Fair enough. No, that makes sense, especially seeing as you worked so hard to get it as well.
right. Yeah.
And then you've got quite a unique sort of like insight into that. Then, do you think it's actually possible to compete at like the highest level while you're still holding down like a regular job as well, or do you think it's kind of not possible to get that last bit at the top?
Um, that's a very good question. I think it's definitely not possible if you are spending. I think I guess there's like a turning point where it's still possible, and then a turning point where it's not possible anymore. Obviously, if you work like 7 days a week and you work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., it will be quite challenging. Um, but I do think like the value of um, training very often, like training frequency, I think the value of that can be overestimated sometimes. I think if you get to a certain point when maybe you're brown or black belt, you've been training for a long time, then you're not going to get that much better training 3 times a day. I think if you get a good session once a day, that can like still maintain and like make you improve. So it's not necessary to do that many reps and that many sessions if you are at a certain level. That's the way I think about it. And then on the other side, I think there's recovery and like time to rest, and you should allow for that in your schedule as well. And I think if you can have those two in balance, then whatever you do in your free time is pretty much up to you. So
No, that makes sense. And I think the recovery aspect of it is something that's often overlooked. And it's also one of the reasons why, performance enhancing drugs are so popular in the sport as well, because that does sort of cut down that recovery time quite a lot. So with that sort of in mind, then, do you think that there's diminishing returns over time? Like, say if you were training twice a day, 7 days a week, you're actually better off sort of, focusing on recovery rather than spending that extra time in another session.
yeah, I mean, I guess we'll never know, right? Because you're gonna go one way or the other way, and then you're never gonna know how much better or how much worse off you're gonna be if you train more or train less. So yeah, there's definitely an argument for it, and I think yeah, on that topic, it's kind of finding the holy grail, right? Like, what's the exact right amount of training sessions for you in your circumstances? That is, yeah, you can spend a long time figuring that out for sure.
Yeah. And then you mentioned something earlier that I wanted to talk to you about as well, where you were talking about how you were the lightest person in the room when you were a kid, obviously in judo. And I can't imagine it's been much different since you've been doing jiu-jitsu either, because you're in what the second lightest female division, which is 55 kilos, 53 kilos. So
Yeah.
there's not many people that are going to be lighter again, really. And have you found that difficult when you've been sort of like rising through the ranks, where obviously most of your training partners, I imagine, would be heavier?
For sure, yeah. I would say it's still definitely a challenge up to this date. I don't have like a big training room full of women who are my size and my level. So it's definitely a challenge to find a way around that. Mm, what was the question again?
Just really that how have you sort of mitigated that? How have you managed to work
Oh,
around that, having larger training partners for the majority of the time?
yeah. Yeah. So I guess in part of it, it's just working with what you have. Like I can wish to have a training room that I don't, but that's not going to help me in the position where I am. So I guess in that year that I mentioned before, where I wasn't working, I did quite a bit of cross training, and I went to train in different gyms abroad as well whenever I was traveling. So that definitely helped. And I still try to kind of make mini camps. So before Worlds this year, I had Sonia, a friend from Germany, come over, and she is my size and a brown belt and a very fierce judo background. So we did a lot of sessions just training with each other, and that was like my mini prep for Worlds. So that definitely helped. And then yeah, it's like I said, still something I try to navigate. Finding someone who, not finding someone who's my size, but like training with people who are bigger than me or like stronger than me for sure. Yeah.
And I think that's got to be made even more difficult, obviously, because if you living and training in the Netherlands, the sport isn't as big as it is in the States or anything like that. So do you have do you find that is like sort of the best way to work around it, is to find like key training partners that do match up with your size and skill level the best, kind of thing?
Yeah, so the Netherlands, if I'm not wrong, it has like the tallest population on Earth. If not, they're like in top three. But luckily, my gym is pretty international, so we have like people with different backgrounds. So yeah, I try to either find someone who, well, might be bigger than me, but like plays a similar game. So someone who's like still flexible, even though they're big. So I try to work with that. or I will try to just work with like the smaller people in the room or the girls. Pregnancy sometimes makes me forget like what the question. I think so. Is that answering your question? Like how I go about that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
And then that's funny you mentioned that because that's one thing I was going to ask you actually is obviously you competed at Worlds earlier this year, but haven't done anything else since. In the last sort of 2 years, you've been a bit slower competing than you were before. Was there any reason behind that or?
Well, I was pregnant for one. So let's see. I gave birth in October last year, so that's almost a year ago. And well, the whole year before that, pretty much I was pregnant. So my last competition was Europeans 2023. And I did that one coming off a concussion that was resolved enough to compete. And I had like medical clearance for that. So very big disclaimer. But that definitely made me, yeah, like slow down in terms of like competing and not doing as much as I usually would. So yeah, the past 1.5 or 2 years, I'd say, have been a little slower than usual. Yeah, but I'm getting back to it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is obviously I noticed the having a child, of course, and that's always going to take quite a big chunk of your time, of course. And can I ask, have you managed to sort of like stay active on the mats while you've been going through pregnancy, like all throughout it, sort of thing, or have you sort of taken a step back as well?
No, I really tried to get the most out of it. So I was training up to week 34 of my pregnancy, a lot slower, of course, and adjusted very much to what I could do and what was safe to do. But I did try to train as much as I could and lift weights and do cardio and all of that.
Nice, nice. So I imagine it was pretty easy to sort of like ease back into it then afterwards, or
Well,
did you not find it? Did you still find it quite difficult even with all the preparation kind of thing?
I mean, I'm not gonna know how if it would be more difficult. I guess if I would have taken a bigger break, then for sure, yeah, it would have felt more foreign. But you like, obviously, you've never been pregnant. Just imagine like having had surgery on your entire body. So, I really felt like coming back from square one or square zero, like the step one. So it's really something else to get back from. So yeah, because it's not just your body that changes. It is also like a newborn that is like needs you every 2 to 3 hours to feed and sleep and all of that. So yeah, definitely like the biggest challenge coming back from for sure.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah, and when you say like coming back into it and stuff, do you think that you'll continue competing now next year, like ramping up the schedule, or you still sort of got other things to prioritize at the same time?
Yeah, good question. So I will get back to the majors for sure. So like European ski, European snow gi, and Worlds 2026 are definitely on the agenda. I think I will probably compete a little bit less than I used to do before, just because like schedule wise, it's difficult to get all of that falling into the right place. And yeah, so it's just prioritizing what is important there. Yeah.
And when we talk about your sort of schedule, obviously one of the bigger things that you're working on at the moment is Jiu-Jitsu Queenz, which how long have you been doing that now? It's a few years, isn't it? More than 1 year, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I like the very, very first one was in 2017. That was in my own gym when I started it. And then in 2021, I think, 2022. Yeah, 2022 probably. I switched to a bigger location and I've been doing 3 events per year since then. So I think I lost count how many editions we've done, but definitely like 15 or something or 16. Yeah.
Wow, no, I didn't realize it started that far back as well. I only sort of noticed myself when you were, it's like you said, doing like 3 events per year and it was like a more regular thing. But starting all the way back in 2017, then can I ask what the like motivation behind it was originally back then?
Yeah, well, I kind of think we're circling back to the like not having a lot of female training partners to train with. So that's where the idea came from. I just started doing a women only class in my own gym and then thought it would be nice to, do like a fun summer event. I think it was summer or maybe it wasn't, but it doesn't matter. I just thought it would be nice to have like a get together. And so I asked um girl, Samantha Cook. She was a brown belt at the time, and now she's a black belt. She's really, really good. I asked her to come and teach, and just got a room of girls together to train, and that was the first edition, and it was a success. So I decided to continue.
So that's quite crazy then. It didn't really start out as like a full-blown, training camp style thing. It was more informal at the beginning, was it?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was 25 girls, and it was like so small scale. I made everyone lunch, and I think I made apple pie, and like it was really, really small sized. And like slowly it started growing and getting a little bit bigger, and then 2022 onwards, the events have been like much bigger and more frequently as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, that's when I sort of like became aware of it, was where you're noticing that it's a rival in like other training camps where you've got dozens and dozens of people on the mat all at the same time. And I notice you always focus on having one instructor each time and yourself, don't you? Is there a
Mhm.
specific reason for that, or are you just looking to grow even further in the future?
I think it has to do, well, definitely like growing into the future is something that is on the horizon. Um, but so for now, the setup is mostly that everyone is doing the same classes. So if you look at like different camps, they'll have like 4 classes a day schedule. Not everyone is doing all the classes. They kind of pick and choose. And then I think it makes more sense to have different instructors as well, because you can kind of, just pick the classes that you like to do and like chill in the meantime. And this event is more set up in a sense that we all like do the same classes. So I don't think anyone's going to train for multiple days more than twice a day with open mats. So that's why the setup is the way it is. Yeah.
No, that makes sense, and I think that sort of pulls it back to what you said in the first place about it being a more like personal sort of like vibe. If everyone is doing every single class, then you all kind of like come together a bit better than, like you said, the larger training camps where there's maybe like 1,000 people even sometimes, but at any one time there's only like 10% of that on the mat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And then when you look at the future, then I know you've got one camp coming up now that you're preparing for. Can you let us know what the future looks like now, the next few camps planned out? Or
Yeah, so I started planning ahead a little bit more into the future. So the upcoming camp, and actually the last one of 2025, is going to be in November in Amsterdam. So it's going to be November 28 to 30 with Rosa Walsh. She is a black belt from Ireland and has a really amazing gi and no-gi game. So she's going to be training with us. It's going to be her second time joining us. So she joined as a brown belt quite a few years ago, and now she's going to be back. So I'm very excited to be having her over. And then 2026, I have, well, one event already planned on the calendar, and the next one is in the making. So the first one is going to be in January 30 to February 1st, also in Amsterdam. And it's going to be, I don't know when you're going to post this, but I'm going to be announcing her this week, so I guess it's fine to say. But it's going to be with Larissa Campos. She's a black belt, and you probably know her. She won Europeans last year, and she won Worlds last year, and she's really good as well. So I'm excited to be having her with us. And then we're going to have a summer event, which is still in the making, and I'm going to be posting about that a little bit later down the line, but that one's going to be really good. Yeah.
nice, nice. So I mean, that must take up quite a lot of your time then, sort of planning these events every what, 4 months sort of thing. Do you find that takes away from training quite a bit these days?
I don't know, because for one, I'm like, it's like a format, right? So you kind of copy paste, and then things go as they go. But every edition, again, it's different. I have to think about new stuff. I'm focusing a bit more on social media as well too now. So trying to set it up definitely takes up some time, but it doesn't feel like work because I really enjoy like doing it. Taking away time from training, I'm not sure, because it's stuff that I can do, like, from my laptop when I'm at home. I guess I have an issue, like, not like I find it hard to stop working. So maybe I'm not the best person to ask.
No, I mean, I do feel your pain. I'm the same. I always tend to have like 3 or 4 different projects going on at once, and it's sometimes you have to take a step back and sort of reevaluate what you can actually take on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I try to delegate a bit, especially during the events. So I used to do everything myself. Now I definitely, like, I have a very good team taking care of different things. So I'm not the only one doing everything. I don't think you should want to be in the position where you do that if you're running an event. But yeah, still it's some like a challenge for me. Absolutely.
And then when you're looking at the future, I know most of I think all of them have been at your gyms, obviously in Amsterdam now. So are you looking to take that further away, like in other locations, or will it always be close to home?
No, so actually, since I switched it to like bigger events in 2022, I actually moved the events from my gym to a venue that I'm renting. So that's like we're already set there, but it is in Amsterdam. I have done some additions in the past, like as a collab. So I did an event in Dubai with one of my friends who lives there, and then in Stockholm in Sweden. So that was really fun to do. And yeah, for like the summer 2026, I am looking into like a sunny destination. So, in Europe. That's as much as I'm going to say. Yeah.
No, that's nice. That's nice
Yeah.
because I mean the ability to sort of take it to other locations is definitely going to be beneficial to other people because, as I'm sure you experience yourself, going to Dubai, you're going to get a completely different group of people than you would hosting it in Amsterdam, and same goes for wherever you host it in Europe as well.
For sure, definitely. It does take some more organizational requirements, but it is definitely a lot of fun to go somewhere else. And Amsterdam is a great city. Like in winter and in summer, I would say summer is a little bit better, but still, like in winter, like the city is beautiful and there's so much to do and to see. But yeah, it will be cool to take the Jiu-Jitsu Queenz experience and like pick it up and put it down somewhere else and see what happens. Yeah.
Nice, nice. And then the only other thing I really wanted to ask you was back onto your sort of like competitive career, where you're one of the well, I wouldn't say one of the few. It's becoming more common now, but you're one of those people that has done all, like you said, all the IBJJF major events, but then you've also done quite a few of the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam events as well, like traveling around the world to do them. And was that literally just so that you could get as much competition in, or do you actually have like a preference between each rule set? 'Cause I know they're similar, but not exactly the same.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is, well, the time. So IBJJF is 10 minutes and Abu Dhabi is 5 minutes. So that is a huge difference. And then the weight classes are a bit different as well. I like to do them because, well, IBJJF probably has the like more prestige because they've been around for much longer. But the Abu Dhabi ones are really fun and very professionally set up. And you can win some money if you if you win, so that's good too. So yeah, and I guess in where I live, like they are the biggest circuits, so IBJJF and AJP, so that kind of naturally made me lean towards those. Yeah, I will be focusing a bit more on the IBJJF circuit, also because you need the points for the majors, and yeah, so that will have my main focus. But yeah, both are nice and fun to do for sure.
Nice. And will you be looking at doing any more like super fights or like professional events outside of those two as well?
Yeah, so I did an invitational in April. It's called Kairos Pro. It was a really cool bracket, like women only bracket, and they had 5 girls on each side. So you had to like fight everyone in the division, and then the winners would fight each other in the final. So that was really cool, and they set it up like especially for women. Did a lot of promotion on it, and they'll be organizing a new edition hopefully soon. Yeah, I'm open to any super fight invitations. So shout out to whatever organization is looking for a 55 kg female.
Nice. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through with you today. But is there anything that you want to say or anyone you want to give a shout out to or anything like that before I let you go?
Yeah, I would love to give a shout out to Hyperfly, my sponsor. They recently or like decided to collaborate with me, and they are the main sponsor of Jiu-Jitsu Queenz. We did some really cool stuff. So we made a kimono together and a rash guard. And you can find that on the website, jiujitsuqueenz.com, if you go over there and have a look at the shop. And I'm very excited to be working with them because they are so much like they put women at the forefront of the brand, not just to have a few women so that they can say that they did it and like check the boxes, but they're really in it for the women. And I think that's so amazing about them. And that's why I'm really happy to be working together with them. And they're going to be continuing to work with me and with Jiu-Jitsu Queenz. So for the next camp, we're going to make something cool as well. So yeah, I'm really happy to be working together with them. And yeah, one thing I wanted to say about the camps is, I think the biggest maybe misconception about it, or what I hear, is that some girls, they want to come to the camp, but then they're like, oh, but I don't know anyone, and you've been doing them for so long, and maybe there's like, already people there who know each other, and I'm gonna be like left out. And I check every time, like looking at the attendees attendance, and like there's still so many women who attend and they don't know anyone else. They just come by themselves, which I think is the coolest thing ever. If you just like buy your ticket, get your bag, and go. And it's so cool to see how you like meet new people and make new friendships. So yeah, for anyone who's listening and is thinking about coming to the camp, or maybe on the fence, just come and you're gonna have a great time.
Nice, nice. Well, I look forward to seeing the outcome as well and seeing how it grows now over the next couple of years. But other than that, thanks so much for your time, Rose, and have a nice evening. All right.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Cheers. Take care.